my friend. A punchy, ooh, bit of lift off oversteer. A punchy, very raw car. What is going on, guys? Welcome to Stef ABtv. Welcome to Palm Springs, and more specifically, welcome to the thermal track which BMW uses their performance center. As you can see, we have the mini JCW, the John Cooper Works GP3. Now, this has been highly anticipated. We are finally here. We are finally going to get a chance to go out in it and experience just what this thing is like. I'm going to give you a quick walk around first of all and tell you, well, just basically show you what it is, because we haven't seen this much. We've seen it with the camo on. Now we can see it without the camo. So let's do this. Right, okay, so let's start with the front of the car. So we'll start with the front, which means we'll start with the engine. We are running a 2-litre turbocharged engine in this, which is the same engine you'll find in the BMW M135i and of course the mini Clubman JCW. We're seeing 306 horsepower produced from this car, but the main difference is that this is a front-wheel drive platform. So the Clubby is a four-wheel drive, this is a front-wheel drive. However, being a GP car, it's also a lot lighter. We get a very kind of nice angle here. You can see the fenders here, they kind of act as wind tunnels and they go all the way back through the car. There's a lot of conversation around this, whether these are actually nice, and I think I love them, if I'm honest with you. The other thing as well is you can kind of see it's like a bit of a forged carbon effect on this. It looks really nice. I mean, the last time I saw this, it had the camo wrap on it, so this is the first time I am seeing it without the camo. I think it does look really good. If I show you the inside of this car quickly. Now, the one thing that I think is great with Mini is that Mini have positioned this as a very punchy car. They've gone down the route of making it very raw. However, they haven't skimped on everything. So what we have seen, if I come around this side, I'll touch on the wing in a second. What we have seen is a removal of the rear seats, and as a result we get more weight reduction. We get a lot more noise that comes out the back of this exhaust here, which is great. It adds more to the character, but you'll see that we've still got kind of a sat nav, we've got paddles, we've got cruise control, so they haven't skimped on everything. We can see the kind of very nice anti-roll bar here as well to add more stability to the car. But for me, the kind of pièce de résistance, the bit that I really love, is this rear spoiler here. I think the rear spoiler looks absolutely superb. Obviously it will give you a lot more aero, but I just think it looks great. The other thing that you get, of course, well, you get them on all cars, but I just think it's a really nice touch, is the Union Jack headlights, and they kind of marry up to kind of create one flag. And of course we get the mini GP badge. Oh, hello. Oh, mate. Who's this? So we've got a one Tom TGE here. How are you, mate? Yeah. So very well. Yeah, we'll shake hands. Excellent. So what are you doing lurking around here? Just having a look, mate. Yeah, just doing YouTube. Yeah. And have you bought one of these? Apparently, yeah. Yeah. No, I put a deposit in. I've got one coming. And what do you think of it? Yeah, I like it actually. Yeah. You nailed it. Especially the styling, I think is amazing. Yeah. Have you had any of these cars? Any of the GP cars before? Not GP, no. Standard John Cooper Works. Yeah. I've had one or two of those. So there is someone who has had a GP before. Mr. Schmark, hello sir. Yeah, I have a GP2. Yeah, your GP2 looks absolutely superb. Let's turn around so we get a nice backdrop as well. Yeah, what do you want me to? I want you to just kind of give me an idea of what your thoughts are of what this car looks like.
How it looks like? Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm not really a fan of the arches. Okay. It's not my thing. Personal preference? Remove them and come up with another solution. Rear diffuser needs to be a bit more sporty. Yeah. And for the rest, it's quite cool. And obviously, Schmark, for those who don't know, Mark, you work with Tim, don't you? Yeah, I'm his business manager. He's his business manager. There you go. So there are only going to be 3,000 of these. So 3,000 of these. Mark, by the way, thank you for being on the channel. Much appreciated. I will give him this car because everyone's fighting for this thing. There's only going to be 3,000 of these units available. Now, obviously, there's a number of these have already gone on pre-order, but there's still some of them left. So if you do want one, you can get hold of it. They're starting from around about £33,000. They'll be available to kind of buy at early 2020. So get yourself in the pot and make sure you kind of order one. Other things from this as well. Let's just quickly do a last stab of the interior because I know everyone wants to see this car. I did touch on the fact that this is only an auto box. So you have the same 8-speed auto box that you get in the Clubman JCW. Now, some people have said they would have liked to have seen a manual. Me personally, I quite like this. I mean, for me, look at the paddles as well. This is another very nice touch. Is the paddles. If I zoom in, there you go. You've got a very nice kind of brushed aluminium feel to this paddle, and the steering wheel looks good. Like, I really like this. This side here as well, it's just very nice center console. And whilst they have skimped a little bit to make this lightweight, they haven't skimped anywhere near enough to make this kind of feel super track. So actually, there's an argument to say that you could easily daily this car with ease. And then you look around the back here, and then you realise, well, it is quite raw and stripped out.
Now, as I kind of said earlier on, this is the third generation of JCW car. The first car started out in 2006, and there was only 2,000 of those made. And that car used to run the 1.6 litre supercharged engine, made 218 horsepower, and delivered a 6.5 second 0 to 60 time, and an 8-minute 41 around the Nurburgring. Then in 2013 we saw the GP2. We saw 2,000 units globally. They went from a 1.6 supercharged to a 1.6 turbocharged, 218 BHP, and then we saw a 0 to 62 time reduced to 6.3, so we've got a bit more torque in the GP2. And then obviously, as I talked about earlier on, now the GP3, 3,000 units for 2020, 2 litre turbo, 306 horsepower, 450 newton meters of torque, 5.2 to 60, and a sub 8 second around the Nurburgring. So there you go, that's a lot of stats rattled there on the different variations of GP3, but for me, I really like this. I think the front looks super aggressive. I think it's a gorgeous looking car, but what is it like around the track? Well, that's exactly what we're going to do now. We're going to jump in this car and take it around here, around the thermal track here in Palm Springs, California. Right, okay guys, so we are in the brand new Mini GP3 John Cooper Works. Very excited to see what it's like. So as discussed earlier on by the car runs 306 horsepower. It is Mini's fastest ever car. Slightly slower 0 to 60 than the Clubman JCW 4. Oh well, that's good, isn't it? But because it's so raw, let's see what this go-kart feels like, my friend. Okay, yeah, that's pretty solid, that. Now, as we swing around this kind of long left-hand hairpin here at the thermal track, one thing I can say is that the car feels so well balanced, punching it out, lovely turbo noise coming from this thing. Because everything is stripped out of the back, one of the things that we do get is a lot more noise from inside the cabin, and that's where Mini are really trying to position this. A punchy, ooh, bit of lift off oversteer. A punchy, very raw car. Oh wow, this is great. Oh, it does have a very nice tone to it. Do one more lap. Good man. And we haven't got much time with the car, we're kind of up against the clock, but I'll let you enjoy this lap. Have a listen. Than the Clubman JCW. However, because it's so light, around somewhere here like the thermal track, it just navigates its way through like there's no tomorrow. Hard on the brakes, look at that. That's alright. Oh man, that was good. Let's just quickly summarise before I jump out of this car. So, the Mini GP3 is Mini's fastest ever car. Their position is a very punchy car. There's a limited run of these, as said earlier on, 3,000 units. And my word, it's a very cool car. Anybody who is buying one of these will really, really enjoy it. I've had an absolute blast in this. Mate, thank you so much for letting me come out in this. We're going to jump out, buy the other car so I can finish this video. And yeah, let's do that right now. Oh my God, guys, that was insane. Granted, we didn't have that much time with the cars. However, the experience of what that was like around the track, just the feeling, I mean, you probably saw the way the guy was just planting it around that track. There is so much grip. Granted, it's on semi-slick tyres, so you're going to get a load more grip regardless, but that rear anti-roll bar, you can see that makes such a difference. It felt so stable around the corners. A little bit of lift off oversteer, which is exactly what you want from these things. So what Mini have done is they've created a very, very raw car that kind of still fits the characteristics of what John Cooper Works should be. It stays premium, and I really like this car. But anyway, guys, I've got to say a massive thank you to Mini for inviting me down here to Palm Springs. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to like, share and subscribe, and I'm going to see you all very soon on the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.